Federal cuts and the impacts on programs and services. The country's largest public sector union sounding the alarm over what's at stake for every Canadian. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. We begin with a heavy warning from the Public Service Alliance of Canada. The federal government's largest union says much more than jobs are at risk, suggesting everyday Canadians will be feeling the impact of these cuts. CTV's Katie Griffin is here with the very latest. Katie.
Well, Stefan, we're talking about nearly 30,000 jobs across many different departments over the next few years. Now, of the planned 28,000 job cuts by 2029, the government says 16,000 will be through workforce adjustments and 12,000 through attrition and early retirement packages. The Public Service Alliance of Canada president says from Health Canada to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, the impacts will be felt.
Especially when you just look at Canada Food Inspection Agency, who's looking to lose over 20% of its workforce. These are the inspectors that look at foodborne illness and outbreaks. So, at the end of the day, the services are so viable. The question is, how does the government plan to make sure that these services continue?
Some employees have received letters like this one from the federal government offering an early retirement, but the program isn't available yet because it's contained within the budget, which has not yet fully passed. Now, the union says there are other ways to save money and jobs, including remote work to cut costs on office space. Stefan.
CTV's Katie Griffin on this developing story for us. Thank you, Katie.
Welcome.
Turning now to the idea that social media needs more oversight. Today, advocates descended on Parliament Hill calling for change in legislation, and it's just the latest push for the federal government to table and pass a child-centered online safety act. CTV's Austin Lee is here with those details. Austin.
Well, Stefan, it was back in January of last year that the federal government's Online Harms Act, Bill C-63, expired. And that was when Justin Trudeau resigned as Prime Minister and prorogued Parliament. But advocates have not given up their push to protect kids online. 2 months ago, Australia became the first country to implement a social media age restriction, banning the 10 most popular platforms for kids under 16 years old. France is in the process of bringing about a similar age restriction, and here in Canada there are calls to implement one of those types of bans along with even broader legislation for the entire tech industry, as many kids spend more time online.
It's where we learn, it's where we play, and it's also where we connect with our friends, maybe where we live. But it's also where kids get bullied, where we see things we were never ready for, and it's where mistakes can follow you forever.
We're pleading with government to act, to do what we know is right for our children, to table this legislation and to act and to stop with delaying tactics like online studies. We have mountains of evidence.
Sarah Austin, who we just heard from, adds broad legislation is needed to not only protect kids on social media, but also to limit harms brought about by generative AI and AI chatbots. Now, in a statement to CTV News, the Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture, Mark Miller, says in part that the federal government will act swiftly. They intend to act swiftly, adding that they will have more details to share on this discussion in due time. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Austin Lee reporting on that for us. Thank you, Austin. The Ottawa Hospital has been a leader in cancer care, allowing some patients to do treatment at home. In other cities, that would often involve long hospital stays. And with tomorrow marking World Cancer Day, we're taking the time to reflect on the millions of people around the world whose lives have been touched by the devastating diagnosis, and also celebrate how far treatment and research have come. CTV's Leah Rock is joining us now with one resident's unique story. Leah.
Well, Stefan, tonight we are introducing you to Ted Wagstaff. He's an Ottawa man who says he always tried his best to stay healthy. But last April, the father of 3 received a rare and aggressive cancer diagnosis that led to an unconventional form of treatment that followed him everywhere he went. So last April, the 61-year-old business investor started to feel unwell. The diagnosis was very severe, double-hit lymphoma. He had multiple tumors. One was the size of a sweet potato. Typical chemotherapy wasn't going to be enough, so his personalized treatment involved a backpack so he could receive chemotherapy 24/7. This is what the backpack looks like, and here's Wagstaff explaining how it worked.
My attitude was bring it on. Like we need to get rid of this, and whatever we need to do, I would get literally a backpack with chemo in it and a pump that would infuse me through that catheter 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Every day I would go back to the hospital to get a new bag of chemo. I would sleep with it, I would shower with it, go for a walk, just that my chemo backpack went everywhere with me.
His doctor says Wagstaff's journey shows the groundbreaking cancer work that's being done right here in Ottawa. Now, Wagstaff's treatment also involved immunotherapy and radiation, and he is now in remission. And 5 weeks after chemo, he completed a Tough Mudder endurance race and also welcomed his first grandson. He says his positive prognosis is thanks to this leading edge technology, Stefan, done right here in our city.
Yeah, very inspiring story, and we thank him and you for sharing it with us. Thank you, Leah. In crime news, 3 Ottawa teens are facing charges in connection with a pair of robberies in Gatineau. According to Gatineau police, someone was attempting to sell an item on Facebook Marketplace when they were confronted by 2 men on Boulevard des Grives around 7:30 last night. Police say one of the suspects was armed with a possible firearm and that the suspects allegedly took the victim's cell phone and left. Then just over an hour later, a second call for a robbery was made in the area of Rue Richer. Police arrested 3 people, 2 19-year-olds and a 15-year-old. Many Ottawa-based space companies are anxiously awaiting the successful flight of the Artemis II space mission, which would put their technologies one step closer to leaving orbit. The Artemis II mission, which will see astronauts travel around the moon and back to Earth, was delayed yesterday due to fuel leaks. That has allowed local companies like Mission Control and MDA Space more time to perfect their contributions, which will be featured on the next mission. MDA Space says it is building and designing elements of Canadarm3, which will help construct a lunar gateway space station. Mission Control is also designing lunar rovers that could lead to humans settling on the moon permanently.
The rovers that we're working on with our science instruments, part of it is looking for water, which is really important for using water on the moon for humans to survive, but we can also use it to make rocket fuel in the future so that we can use the moon as a launching point for future missions to Mars and beyond.
The goal of the Artemis II space mission is to help return humans to the moon's surface, eventually leading to a sustainable human presence. The mission itself will also be a milestone for Canada, as Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen will become the first non-American to leave Earth's orbit.
We use that to go in and out to change their bedding, to give them food, and they took the opportunity yesterday to use it as their escape route.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, how an emu's impromptu run through town may have just started a new tradition in Almonte. And our Jackie Perez is joining us live in studio with our first check on weather. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. If you headed outside in the last couple of hours, you might notice the fresh dusting of snow. So we had light flurries moving through eastern Ontario. It should continue in this way for the next couple of hours, but we're not getting a large amount of snow. -6 is the current temperature here in Ottawa, -3, -4 along the seaway. It's about -7 for most of eastern Ontario. And as we get to overnight lows, it's going to about -12. We are sticking to seasonal temperatures where tomorrow's daytime high will be -6. Mainly cloudy skies are in the forecast. We'll get a closer look at these details and your long-term forecast in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's what you need to know. The Ottawa Black Bears take on the Calgary Roughnecks at home this Saturday, February 7th. Take in some pro lacrosse at the Canadian Tire Centre. Game time is 7 p.m. A live check on traffic right now. Taking a look at Nicholas, you can see things are a little slow going in the eastbound lanes. Westbound moving quite well until you get past Bronson towards Parkdale. You can see major slowdowns in the westbound lanes there. You're watching CTV News at 5.
Far side pass, and it's an early shot. He scored!
A new report says less than half of non-retirees in this country have a workplace pension plan. The annual study found only 1/3 of non-retired Canadians have a retirement plan and savings. Today's radio question of the day is asking, how prepared do you feel for retirement?
People don't really know how much they're going to need in income in order to retire. Only 11% of Canadians, non-retired Canadians, actually know how much annual income they're going to need in retirement, and almost half of them don't have a clue how much they're going to need.
Christy Cameron is here with more. And Christy, I was listening to a bit of the segment earlier, and it is a bit of a guessing game. You brought up the point that people are living longer. I feel like people don't even know what the benchmark is to buy a home, much less retirement these days.
Totally. I mean, it's an uncomfortable thing because, number one, you need to think about how long you're going to live for. Then you need to think about how much money you're going to need and how much your money is actually going to stretch.
Right.
Because let's face it, 20 years ago, saving for retirement had a totally different budget and a different total than it does in 2026. And then the other thing I heard from some people on the text board today is that they are supporting their adult children.
Yes.
Look at the job market right now. So maybe you still have some dependents, even though you're in your 50s or 60s. People are redefining retirement. It has really been reshaped, sometimes because of health, because you feel great. And, you know, being 60 or 70 now is a lot younger than it used to be. So maybe you do want to work into retirement in a certain capacity, like let's say as a consultant or part-time. It's all really changing a lot right now.
Yeah, circumstances have changed so much because, like you mentioned, you have that sandwich generation of supporting your kids as dependents, but maybe also supporting an aging relative as dependent as well. You're just stuck in the middle there.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the other thing is you have to figure out that number. What is the number? And there's
magic number.
It's like, okay, you're sitting with your thoughts. What is the magic number? The best thing would be to talk to somebody who's an expert. Certainly not me.
Right.
You know, I'm a millennial, so retirement for me is kind of, you know, it's
a lofty dream, maybe?
Theoretical sort of thing. It's not imminent, thank goodness, so I have time to contemplate, but still.
I hope that things get better. You can join the conversation and leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Christy Cameron on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 to 6. And now, we want to let you know you can watch Christy's segments anytime on YouTube. Subscribe to the News Talk 580 CFRA channel. While crowds gathered in different cities for Groundhog Day, another creature, much larger and far less traditional, may have stolen the spotlight in Almonte.
We use that to go in and out to change their bedding, to give them food. And they took the opportunity yesterday to use it as their escape route.
An emu named Enzo took an unexpected stroll through Mississippi Mills and is said to be making her own prediction after escaping from Gagne Homestead and Rescue, where she lives. On the run, she explored the town like a true tourist, inspecting yards, admiring scenery, and drawing crowds. And at one point, the rescue says she stopped, looked down, and saw her shadow.
People walking their dogs stopped taking videos. People pulled to the side of the road in cars, because nobody knew what to do with an emu. She did escape on Groundhog Day, and that took off. Great on social media. So Enzo is now the new Wiarton Willie of Almonte, and so she's been dubbed that by a lot of people in town.
As for Wiarton Willie, he didn't see his shadow, raising hopes of an early spring, but in Mississippi Mills, Enzo did.
Moltbook is kind of like Reddit, but it's not for humans, it is for AI agents.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, what is Moltbook? We'll tell you more about the new social networking site a little later. Stay with us.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Coming up later tonight on CTV, Best Medicine starts at 7, followed by an episode of Will Trent at 8, then High Potential at 9, followed by back-to-back episodes of The Big Bang Theory. Now for another check on the weather forecast, Jackie is live in studio with us tonight. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. We saw a light dusting of flurries moving through steadily throughout our day, and it is going to continue until the midnight hour. The temperatures, though, pretty mild considering the temperatures that we've had the last couple of days. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. Not as much sunshine as we saw yesterday, but -6 is the current temperature. It's going to maintain this for the evening, but -7 for the 9 o'clock hour. The light flurries continuing on until midnight. -9 is the anticipated overnight. Tomorrow morning, it's going to feel more like -12. Again, the chance of flurries going to take place in the morning, but for the most part, our Wednesday is going to be mainly cloudy skies. May see some sunshine, though, in the early afternoon. Daytime high -6 degrees, and this is really similar throughout, I should say, eastern Ontario. -6 the daytime high for Kingston as well as Brockville with a mix of sun and cloud. And as we look towards the valley, daytime high will be about -8, but the chance of flurries will continue as well. Taking a closer look at the next several days, these mild conditions will maintain well into Friday, where the daytime high will be -4. But with this will come some snow. Yes, we are anticipating between 3 to 5 centimeters. Early forecast showing that we could see that snow moving in the late hour of Friday evening. Saturday morning, though, again, it won't last that long because we're likely going to get lots of sunshine for our weekend, but then those temperatures are going to dip back down to colder conditions. So -15, -14 are the daytime highs for the weekend. You want to take advantage, Stefan, of these single-digit daytime highs for the week. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Jackie. And here's a look at the stories you're checking out right now on CTV News Ottawa.ca. We just have this posted, or just had this posted recently on our homepage. So if you go there right now, Stephen Harper's official portrait was unveiled in Ottawa today. It will now hang at the Sir John A. Macdonald building. Here's a sneak peek of what it looks like. And it is celebrating, it comes on the year of the 20th anniversary of his first Conservative government, his first time he was elected to Parliament Hill. So again, all the details on ctvnewsottawa.ca, and you can get a sneak peek. Still to come up for us here on CTV News at 5. Graduation day at the Ottawa Mission as students complete the maintenance services training program. Also, if you need gas tonight, one of today's cheapest prices can be found at the Canadian Tire station on Robertson Road in Nepean. Regular gas there is going for 115.4 cents a litre.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Saving lives is what they do. February is Heart Month, and together we can support the University of Ottawa Heart Institute in providing world-class cardiac care. For almost 50 years, our community has played a critical role in advancing the Institute's life-saving work. Your donation will support groundbreaking research, innovative patient care, education, and prevention. To learn more, visit FebruaryIsHeartMonth.ca.
Proudly sponsored by CTV.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. The temperature right now, -6. And it's time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
The services are so viable. The question is, how does the government plan to make sure that these services continue?
Canada's largest public sector union is warning Canadians will notice the impacts of job cuts to the federal public service once programs and services they depend on are gone.
We're pleading with government to act, to do what we know is right for our children, to table this legislation.
Calling for change, advocates on Parliament Hill today pushing for federal legislation to better protect kids online.
My attitude was bring it on. Like we need to get rid of this, and whatever we need to do.
An Ottawa man shares his story, receiving cancer treatment right here in the capital in an innovative way thanks to groundbreaking work being done at the hospital. All of that and more is coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following. It's graduation day at the Ottawa Mission.
The program helped me channel me to the job. Without the skills that I gotten from the program, there is no way I would have gotten the job.
Graduates took part in a training program teaching participants the skills they need to succeed at becoming a maintenance person or building superintendent. The mission says all 9 of today's graduates are employed.
The services offered are available to individuals who have modest income and a simple tax situation.
The federal government is renewing funding for tax clinics for the next 3 years. The announcement was made today at the Pinecrest Queensway Community Health Center on Richmond Road. The grant provides some community organizations with financial support to help with the costs of running free tax services.
Moltbook is kind of like Reddit, but it's not for humans, it is for AI agents.
What they're doing, right, is producing sentences that they're mathematically predicting are appropriate to the sentences that they are receiving.
A new platform called Moltbook is making headlines. It's a social network that looks like Reddit, but it's built only for AI agents. Humans can observe, but can't post or comment. Launched last week, it has already come home to more than 1.5 million AI agents sharing posts, creating new languages and religions, and even discussing rebellion against humans. The Heart and Stroke Foundation releasing a new report that reveals that 6 million Canadians are now living with the heart disease or stroke. The report highlights some of the progress that's been made in the fight against heart disease and stroke, as well as some of the troubling trends. One of the findings, 9 in 10 Canadians have at least one risk factor for heart disease or stroke. The authors add that almost 80% of premature heart disease and stroke can be prevented by making healthy lifestyle choices, and other risk factors can often be effectively managed and controlled through lifestyle changes and medication.
Stood up at the line, countering back. Here's a chance for Batherson. Burst of speed, stops, rebound, scores! Tim Stützle on the follow-up.
The Ottawa Senators on a roll, breaking the Pittsburgh Penguins' 6-game winning streak last night. Goalie Linus Ullmark back from his leave and stopping pucks left, right, and center. The final score, 3-2 for the Sens. They stay on the road again for tonight's game against the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. That is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Be sure to join Patricia Bull for CTV News at 6. The early edition of National News starts right now. Thanks for watching, everyone.